and I've heard, Marty, this is what we want to talk about. What happens to espresso machines when you leave them outside?
Yeah, absolutely. Now's
What do we
a
gotta look
good
out
time
for?
of year to talk about that sort of thing.
Cold opening.
I don't care how much you think you may have drained that, unless you know for sure what all's inside and how the hydraulic system works. You probably didn't drain that entire espresso machine. So my rule of thumb is don't leave them outside. If they've ever had water in them, do not leave them outside. That gauge that you're showing right there, that's a good example of what freezing will do. And that's the first thing to go. We've seen some survivors that the gauge doesn't survive. So I know.
How quickly can this happen? Because I called you the other day and I was like, you know, I was just gonna pull an espresso machine out of a cafe, gonna move it. It was about 32 degrees, 33, and it was gonna be in the back of a pickup truck. And I just didn't feel comfortable. So again, you know, I used my lifeline. Hey, Marty, is this okay? And you're like, the first thing you said was gauges. So is this like an immediate thing, or is it like a day or two?
Gauges, all the tubing at and inside that gauge is really thin. So think of it as if you had a teaspoon of water, how quickly would that freeze, kind of deal? There's not much mass there. So it doesn't take much.
So we have another one that also shows, obviously this is not plugged in, but you have the one reading, I think the amount of steam pressure, and then the bottom one is just kind of off the charts. That one's pretty much shot. And that's probably due to freezing. So this is kind of a bent piece of metal. What is this? Was this a photo that you actually meant to send me?
It was. And what that is, that's a quick snapshot from a video, and you can actually see it better in the video, but that's the top lid for a front boiler on a Mini Lenny, La Marzocco Mini Lenny. And it's supposed to be flat. And that's pretty thick. That tells you how strong that ice is. And there by my thumb, you can see that arc, and the picture really doesn't do it justice. But that's where water sprays out big time when you let this happen. You know, you spend that kind of money. Oh yeah, and then
you have this. This is a solenoid. This is where water, I guess, you know, in your machine, this thing has to open up and close, and sometimes it gets clogged with a little bit of calcium or something like that. So I was kind of curious, like I didn't know that freezing would damage.
Those are loaded with water. I mean, they're constantly they're full of water, and you can see that water pressure that turned to ice there just literally ripped the threads off that top one.
And so again, that's going to be signs of leakage around the solenoid.
Oh yeah.
Gushing more.
Absolutely.
And then what is this? I didn't even know. I see you should be like, is that a?
There's a test for you since you've already.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so what is that?
It's a bolt.
Okay. There should be another picture that shows another example of that.
Oh shoot! I don't have it. I don't have it, Martin.
Okay. No, that's fine. But you can see how crooked that is, and you see that green. See that green?
Yeah.
That's the seal or the O-ring on that. That is a two-piece top and bottom front boiler for a Dalla Corte.
Oh, I've never worked. I'm not. That's I mean, that's too far in the tech world.
Well, but you should never be able to see that O-ring. That O-ring should be smashed between those two pieces.
Oh, it does look like it's kind of like ripped off to the side there a little bit.
That's sat outside. The sad part about that was a brand spanking new machine that I sent out on loan for a New Year's Eve party that ended up being canceled. And so the guy said, I'll just leave it in the truck and I'll take it back to Marty.
So no matter what, just, you know, the one thing that we can say to everybody out there is that if you have an espresso machine, or how about even a coffee brewer, anything that has water running through it, right?
Anything that's had water in it, it can
absolutely destroy the machine, blow out the boiler, and you're gonna have to start from scratch. Why is it though, like in the wintertime, if you're buying like a brand new espresso machine from a dealer, they can send it to you on a pallet because they've winterized it properly?
They've winterized it, and a lot of them blow the residual water out with air. But there's methods in which you can get the water out, but your average shop owner, average barista, someone that doesn't work on them all the time, there's going to be a trap somewhere.
And so if we're buying and selling espresso machines in the wintertime and you have a used espresso machine, you need to sell it in the winter. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, don't haul them in the back of your truck.
Nope.
I
like your vehicle. Actually, I was going to talk about that. What do you got?
I run out of fingers counting how many people that have brought me machines that it was working on their counter.
Oh,
they unplugged it. They threw it in the back of the machine, out of their pickup to bring the machine to me to work on. And, they've got a, 45-minute hour drive. Well, that's just a blast chiller when it's below freezing out there.
Well, I guess word of advice, everybody, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Oh, I read somewhere online that some people are like, just pour a bunch of vodka in it.
And don't waste that vodka.